Thank you, Judd. I get a lot of requests to talk about spas and teach people how to do spas. But Judd, would you mind getting the video set up right here? Right up here, halfway up here? I don't know if it needs a new memory card, which I have up here. But this part, we're trying to videotape a lot of this, but I don't know if we got it all. But I get a lot of requests to talk to people about spas because that's where I started. I was not interested, I told you before, I was not interested in talking to my friends or my family. I was not talking to them because of network marketing, and I had had bad experiences with people who had talked to me about those things, and I thought it was practically evil. In fact, I have one of the leaders on my team who's become a pretty big leader. Okay, well, a huge leader. She's highest rank in the company you can get. But when she first started, she went into Dave Sterling. She sat down with him and she said, okay, can you really do network marketing and get into heaven? And sometimes people feel that way. Now you need to realize that the spas totally feel that way, okay? Darn it, I think there's a video I wanted to show you. If we have time, we'll do it at the end. Now, we have a special treat for you today because we have Dr. Harding, a dentist, who has been working on a plan how to bring this into dental offices, because we've been working with dentist offices, we've been working with chiropractors, we've been working with spas, all kinds of professionals. It's very similar across the board. So when I first start talking about spas, you're going to be thinking, okay, well, wait a minute, that doesn't help me with my dentist, or that doesn't help me with my doctor. But the reality is, I'll show you how it actually is. You do almost the exact same thing, you just change your wording. Instead of like with massage therapists, you're talking about clients. With doctors, you're saying the word patients. And of course, with doctors, you've got to be respectful of the fact that they've had a lot of years of schooling. They know a lot more about the body and things than we do sometimes, depending on what you've done in your career. And so we have to be respectful of that. And we also have to be respectful of the fact that they have different views on, like in the medical field, they are totally raised, if you want to call it. Their training is all about medications and how they interact with the body, and they're trying to save lives, they're trying to help people with serious problems, and so that has been their focus. So we need to realize that we need to help them learn about essential oils without making them feel like, well, your stuff is dumb, essential oils are what, is what we need. Because, hello, you break a bone, I want my doctor, okay? I don't want your essential oils until I need it for the healing process or the pain or whatever. So, we'll talk about spas first, but the treat is this, that now that Roger, my husband, has been doing more of doTERRA with me, helping teach the classes and things like that, he has been so involved for so long, he knows what we're doing that is successful. And so he knows he knows what I'm doing with the spas, so he can look at a dental office from eyes that I don't have, and he can say, okay, we can do that, but this is how we're going to incorporate it. These are the protocols or the treatments that we're going to add to a dental office, okay? So, I'm sorry, there's a notebook that I wanted to show you, but I don't have it here because we were just in Hawaii doing the post-convention tour, and I had one of my leaders call me and say, hey, while you're over there, we talked to the Royal Hawaiian, that was called in Honolulu. They said they're super excited about the oils. I think the Sheraton is like the sister hotel, they work together. They said they're really excited about the oils, but they're trying to decide on their initial order. Would you mind going while you're there and kind of talk to them and help them know what they can do, or kind of answer their questions and stuff. So while I was there, I ended up giving them the spa notebook, so I don't have it here to show you. So I apologize for that. But there is, does anybody know Brianne Hovey's website? SpaDoTerra.com. That's what it is. You want to write that down. There are very few things I will advocate, and I will only advocate it if, number one, it is so good that I can't live without it, and I know it will help my team, or if I know it's complete, well, honestly, if I can't, only if it's something I need or will use, okay? And let me tell you a little bit of the background. I wouldn't talk to my friends or family, and so my sister and I made appointments to go talk to the spas in Las Vegas and do expos, because I thought I want to go to people who are already interested in the oils. So we were going to be in Las Vegas for a week, so we scheduled appointment after appointment after appointment. We had several appointments every day at Circus Circus, MGM Grand, Bellagio, Treasure Island, all the different resorts. Bally's, we went to the Hilton Vacate, what's it called? Hilton Las Vegas, and the other Hilton. We just went everywhere. And guess what response we got? You know, because you've seen it. They were excited. They were excited about the oils. And guess what? I will tell you this. We didn't get to talk about this the last several hours. The basic class that I have my leaders teach when they're first starting, part of the reason I required that class at first, because there are a lot of awesome classes out there, part of the reason is because if they know how to teach that class, then when they go talk to the spas, that we don't do that class, we do a lot more basic information. We don't tell them nearly as much. We just say some basic things, but any question that a spa will ask you, any question that a doctor will ask you, you will be able to respond to that and sound educated. Even if you're new, if you know how to teach that class, okay? And okay, sorry, we didn't get into it, but it will be on the videos that we talked about earlier. If you want to know how to get those videos of all the trainings, it won't have the spa training, but because I haven't recorded any of that yet. But it will have the class, how to teach a class. Wait, yeah, I'll show you how to get the copies of those videos that you can watch. So we'll put your name and your email out there, okay? It's certainly not a soliciting thing, but if you're interested, we'll send it to you. You let me know if you're interested, okay? And I'll send you the details. But there's a basic class I teach that has 3 parts. Part 1 is what are essential oils and the quality. Part 2 is the 3 ways you can use essential oils, and then we talk about different ailments and oils that you can use to use it. And the part 3 is the close. I call it the close, and I show them how to close the class. So when I go to a spa, and by the way, when we teach in a normal class at a home, I won't let people use a PowerPoint. Because we used to do that at the beginning, and guess what happened? People would watch and go, oh wow, I don't have a projector, I couldn't do that. So now we just use a handout. We hand it out, give it to everybody, and guess what people say? They see the class and like, I could do that. She's Presidential Diamond, I could do that. Which is exactly what I want. It hurts my ego, but it helps my paycheck. I like that way better, okay? I can handle it. So when I go to the spas, it's that same basic information, but we are going to use the PowerPoint because it's so professional. And it was a PowerPoint that actually Jen Kelly, how many of you know Jen Kelly? Some of you here are on her team. Jen Kelly put it together when we were brand new, and it was a really basic PowerPoint. And guess what? I still use the exact same one because I learned that it works, and I haven't found anything that works better. And nobody has found a way to sign up spas better or easier, okay? So, what we do is I go in, I have my computer ready. You do not want to go in and open your computer and be having to find the PowerPoint and, oh, let me look it up and let me find, right? So I go in, it's already on my computer, and I close my computer without turning it off. Now make sure you have enough battery, because that could be bad. Now, it's better to bring your cord than to run out of battery, but it's better to have full battery, okay? So what you're going to do is you go in. If I have to, I'll plug the computer in, but hopefully I don't have to. I'll have the diffuser with me. That's really important. And the diffuser I want to take is the one that looks like a teardrop, the Lotus diffuser. The reason is because the spas want it to be quiet. They want it to be pretty and beautiful. They want a certain ambiance in the spa. Okay? As far as doctors and dentists and chiropractors, they don't care. They don't care as much, but they might. Okay? Sometimes what people will do with spas or dental offices, I'll just say spas and professionals, okay? With spas and other professionals, what they do is they'll take a diffuser in, tell them a little bit about the oils, and then say, I'll leave the diffuser with you for a week. And you can try it, and they leave an essential oil so that they can be trying the oils. Now, the thing I like about when I schedule an appointment and we sit down with them, I tell them the basic information, but I spend most of my time on the quality. And by the way, I ask them, okay, so I schedule an appointment, and let me start at the very beginning. I'll call, and I'll say, hi, this is Teresa Harding, and I'm trying to get in touch with the person who is in charge of purchasing at your spa. I don't say I'm trying to get in touch with the owner. I'm trying to get in touch with, the spa director. I don't give a title, because depending on the size of the spa, you don't know who's in charge of that. It could be the person at the front desk, who's the owner and in charge of everything. It could be, so I want to know who's in charge of purchasing. So again, notice I'm trying to be respectful. I don't want to take much of their time. Do you think they get 100 vendors calling them all the time? Yes, they do. So I say, this is Teresa Harding, and I don't tell them I'm with doTERRA, nothing. I just say, I'm trying to get in charge of the person who's in charge of purchasing at your spa. Now, usually they'll say, oh, that's Vicky, or whatever. They'll just give me a name, and I'll tell you what I want. What I want is a name. Because sometimes you'll have people, I call the person that answers the phone or the person at the front desk, I call them the gatekeeper. Because sometimes it's their job to make sure you don't get past them to the owner who's super busy, or to the director, or whatever. They're not supposed to let just any Tom, Joe, and Harry come in, right? So I've got to find a way to differentiate myself or get past the gatekeeper. Now, always, always be respectful. I don't care what they say. And sometimes it's so maddening because I'll call and I'll say, hi, this is Teresa. I'm trying to get in touch with the person who's in charge of purchasing, and they'll say, oh, what is this about? And don't ever hem and haw or hint around the bush. Always be totally open and clear. I'm very professional. I say I'm with doTERRA, which is an essential oils company. And usually I'll say this, I can say I'm with doTERRA, it's an essential oils company. We have a higher quality of essential oils than has ever been available. I usually say that in that part. Because at least sometimes it piques their interest. And a lot of times they'll still say, well, we already have essential oils, so we're not interested. I say, oh, really? Because guess what? If they have essential oils, two things. Number one, I still want to get past the gatekeeper, but I'm kind of interested, what are they using? Because I've worked with a lot of spas, I want to see what's going on. So I say, and I want to get in a conversation with her where she doesn't feel threatened or like I'm trying to be pushy. I say, oh, really? Do you know what brand it is? Or what essential oils do you use? Or what do you use them for the most? That kind of thing. Or I might say, oh, really? I work with a lot of spas, so I'm curious what essential oils you're using a lot of. You see what I mean? I'm just making normal conversation like you would with somebody new that you see on the train. In the train in the airport is what I'm thinking. But that's a different visual. Okay, so I'm saying this stuff, but if they say a name, if they say, oh, that's Vicky, but you know what, and they say, what's this about? And then I tell them, and they say, oh, well, we already have essential oils. Guess what? I already have Vicky's name, that's all I care. Because I can now call back later. I can call back in a couple days and say, hi, this is Teresa. I say, hi, I'm trying to get in touch with Vicky. As soon as I have the name of the person, that's huge. But don't ever do anything that's sneaky or behind the back of the gatekeeper. Because number one, we want to do this with integrity. Number two, you don't even know. I'll tell you what, Laura Jacobs, how many know that name? Okay, her front desk person was her gatekeeper. And I'll tell you what, if I had been sneaky and tried to go around that and go to Laura, they're best friends. Laura's going to hear about, what's her name? I can't think of her name right now. Chris is going to hear about it. She's going to hear that I talked to Laura, and then they're going to be bugged because I went behind her back. And they're going to be like, we don't want to work with somebody like that. Don't be that way. But basically, my goal is to kind of become friends with the gatekeeper. That's my job. So when I don't care if I'm driving down the road and I see a spa and I stop in and I have some samples or something, I might stop and say, I'd rather call, but I'll stop if I see one. And hello, if I go to, California and I stop at a spa, then of course that's a tax deductible trip, right? So, I'll stop at a spa and I'll say, hey, do you guys use essential oils in here? And I'll start talking to them about, oh, really, which ones do you use? Or they say, well, no, not really. I say, oh my goodness, I work with a lot of spas, that's what I do for my work, and they love using the essential oils in the, in places like this. Is it something that you guys have ever tried or would be interested in doing? Notice how I'm really low key. I'm not making them feel like, well, have you ever tried them? Because then they're like, oh no, one of those, leave me alone, right? So be careful about that. But on the phone, if she says, oh no, we're not interested or whatever, I say, oh, okay, and I'll say, well, I just have some samples that I just want to drop by for you guys to try, and nobody says no to free samples. I can't even think of a time. There might have been one, I'm trying to think, it seems like there was one time where somebody was really, really in a bad mood or whatever, or not nice or whatever it was, and I couldn't even bring the free samples because it would have been too offensive after what she had said. So when you're on the phone and somebody says, oh, well, I just want to do this questionnaire, and you say, oh, no, I don't have time right now. Oh, well, it will just take a few. No, I really don't have time. You have to say it 5 times. I don't want to be that person. And so I'm making conversation. If they're not interested, then, and if I say something and I can sense that it gets their back up just a little, I'll say, okay, well, I know you're busy, because guess what? I'm busy, and I know what it's like. And somebody is trying to sell me stuff, and as you can imagine, my team, the size it is now, I get a lot of people who want to show me the thing that they're selling or whatever, to maybe take to my team or something like that. And so I'm very, very careful about it, and I don't think anyone has ever heard me advocate something, because I'm so careful about that. And there's actually something I did learn about taxes that I'm going to share with you today, because I am excited about that one. And it's going to be awesome for people who are building the business and need tax deductions. Anyways, if we have time at the end, I'll just share that with you a little bit. But so I don't want to be that person. So I'm making friends with that person. And if they say no, we already have essential oils, we don't. I say okay, well if I can get them talking about what kind, fine. If not, I'll say okay, well I just have some samples for whoever is in charge of purchasing, so I'll just drop those off. Because I don't want her feeling like she said no and then I came and dropped them off. It is a business, it's not a friend or a normal consumer person. And so I'll do a little bit more than I would with someone else. And I'll say, okay, well, I said, I totally understand, I'm sure you're busy, I just have some samples that I wanted to drop by, I just didn't know who to drop them to. And she might say to me, she might say, okay, we'll just drop them off for Jennifer. Now I've got a name, that's fine. If it's her, she could be the one that makes the decisions, I don't know. Doesn't matter, it's a process. So I'll go and drop those off. But a lot of times I'll get an appointment, and if I tell them I have some free samples, it's easier to get an appointment. So then I will go in, and when I have the appointment, they'll tell me on the phone, they usually say, 3 o'clock, but I only have 10 minutes. Write that down. You need to be so respectful of what they say to you. Because when I sit down with them, you know how sometimes in an essential oils class you go long and people are asking questions. I never go long with the spas, ever. They're a business, they need to be done at a certain time, they are so busy, and it is super nice that they let me come and take their time. I try to do the same thing with the classes, because if people come to your essential oils classes, you need to be respectful of their time too. So I'll go in, I'll sit down and talk to them, I'll say, okay, so I know we have 10 minutes, tell me what time you need to be done. I say that right at the beginning, because I want to show them respect for what they ask, and I need to know so that I can end on time.
What samples do you give them and how much?
Okay, I used to prepare samples ahead of time, and I would go to a spa and they'd say something like this, and I'd have, all the spas love lavender, balance, and aromatouch, right? So I'd have those all ready, and I'd go in and I'm all organized, right? And I'd talk to them, and I'd say, yeah, well, I have some samples for you. And in the course of the conversation, they're going, oh, I can't stand lavender. Everybody uses it, and I'm thinking, oh no, okay, so I have lavender. And so now I just bring my bag of oils, and I make sure that I have aromatouch and balance and lavender, the ones that spas might normally use. And then when they ask, I have the sample bottles, and I fill the sample bottles for them right there. That's just part of what I do while we're talking. So as soon as we get in, okay, so I've got the appointment, right? I come in, sometimes they just say, I don't have time. I say, okay, well, I totally understand, I know you're busy, I have some samples that I want to drop off, and I'll just let you try those. Then I make sure when I drop off the samples, I'm going to leave enough information so that they know exactly how to use them. Put 3 drops, when you leave the doctor's office and you get a prescription, you don't go home with your bottle going, okay, well, I don't know how many pills I'm supposed to take, I guess I'll just take 4, and I don't know if it matters if I eat it with a meal, you know what I mean? It's written down, you know exactly what you're supposed to do. We had a question back here, right there.
Because you're going to spas, did you ever make like a brow appointment? So you get in for 15 minutes, you got a reason to be there, and immediately just start talking to the esthetician or whoever about what they use and how.
No, because I didn't have enough money for that then, and I don't have time for it now. And I'm not kidding when I say Roger cuts my hair. I don't have time for that. I'd rather take that time doing, family time, whatever. But yes, I have people on my team who do that, and it's great. It works really great. So if you can do that, that's good. Okay, so when I'm sitting down with them, I make sure I know exactly how much time they have. If they tell me I've got 10 minutes, and usually, even if they said they didn't have time for an appointment, this is what I'll do, because I want them to be there when I drop off the samples, because then they'll remember me better. And we might be able to get a little bit of a rapport. So when I stop by there, well, actually, when I'm on the phone with them, they say, I don't have time. I say, okay, so I totally understand. I know you're busy. I just have some samples I want to drop by. So let me know when is a good time. When are you going to be there? And I can just drop them off. And she might even say, oh, well, you know what, I won't even have time. I said, that's okay. I'll just drop them off right at the front desk. Is that what I should do? Tell me when is a good day and time. And she might tell me whatever, you notice how whatever she says is right. I'm not gonna try to talk her into it. Well, I'm only just gonna take a few minutes. I don't ever do that, ever. Whatever they say is right. Well, you know, I don't have time for that. I say, okay, that's totally fine. I understand, and I'll just drop the samples off at the front desk. And and they're acting like they're in a hurry. I might even just throw in, if I feel like I'm not pushing too far, I'll say, so do you have any favorites? What are your favorites? You know, any essential oil favorites? And then they tell me, and I make sure that I write them down, of course. What I recommend is that you have a notebook that has, if you're going to be working with spas and professionals, have a notebook that's in alphabetical order or by spa, however you want to do it is fine, but have one whole notebook page for one spa. Don't try to do MGM Grand here and then the dentist here, and I'll tell you what, because you may have 10 calls with them before you actually get an appointment. And I need to remember that it was Sarah that I talked to the last time. So that when I call again, if we ended up talking about Sarah's son and his broken bone, I'm not like, who? Who is this? I need to be able to remember what we talked about. And there's so many people we talked to, you can't remember it all. So, I'd like to drop it off when they're there, because usually when I do, they say, oh, well, and this is what happens. They are so grateful that you were respectful of their time, because on the phone I said, well, I know you're busy, that's okay. The minute they said stop, I'm like, okay, I'm trying to make it easy for them. So then when I come, and if I see them or whatever, I say, these are the samples, I know you're busy, so I don't want to take your time. And I mean it, because I know how that feels when somebody, you know, keeps trying to take your time and you really don't have time for whatever. I mean, we always want to give everybody however much time, but we've got to prioritize too, right? So I'll say that to them, and almost every time they'll say, well, you know what, well, I have like 10 minutes. Almost every time I get in. And I know that it's because I show respect to them. They know that I'm not going to be pushing. And so when we sit down, whether I had a previous appointment or not, you know, they let me in, I'll say, okay, you tell me what time you need to be done, because I know you're busy and I want to end right when, you know, as soon, at the right time. And so, and I don't say it like I'm sucking up, you know, but I mean it. I'm serious, just tell me what time, I want to know. I'm just being professional. So then we sit down, I plug the diffuser in. Now, I have learned that when you take the diffuser, take a little water bottle, like a miniature water bottle, because it can cause a hassle if you have to ask them, where's a sink so I can go get some water for the diffuser? It's not very professional. So have a little water bottle with you, but remember, if you use the water that you buy from the store, it won't do the, what do you call it? It won't mist. It needs to have minerals in the water. It needs to have stuff in the water, so you need tap water. So make sure your little bottle has tap water. Then you can just pour a little bit in. I don't fill it all the way up. Make sure you don't overpower the room. Sometimes we get so excited, we want them to feel like, wow, it smells like peppermint. But then their eyes are watering and they're like, oh, this is bothering me. This is going to do this to my clients. You know, you have to be very careful. You want them to smell it, but not too much. So we're talking about it. I share the quality of doTERRA. And many of you have seen where we do the circles. I'll just show you real quick so you know what I'm talking about. And I'll use green. I hope you guys can see. Oh, fine. Here's the black. Just a second. Okay. So you've seen that circle where you say, if this circle represents all of the essential oil production in the world, then the lowest level of quality is what's allowed in our perfumes. You guys have seen that? I do that whole thing with that. But when I'm talking to a spa, when I'm training a new person to teach a class and they're doing this part, I don't care if when we talk about therapeutic grade oils, therapeutic grade oils, when they're teaching a class and they're new, I don't care if they say, you know, there's some testing that's required in order for it to be therapeutic grade, that's fine. We do it as simple as possible until they get better and better, and then they can, you know, say whatever they want. But at the spas, you need to be able to say the part where you go, and by the way, I think I have a text. I have a text for the class, old, but I just haven't taken the time to update it. But it's just the basic one that we always did before. You have to make sure the content is right because, you know, things have changed in doTERRA, but the quality portion should be exactly the same. And so what I say is, in order for an essential oil to be called therapeutic grade, it has to go through a test called the gas chromatograph. And what the gas chromatograph does, so when I'm at the spas, You gotta know the whole thing for real. Okay, but in the classes, we just start off, say whatever you remember about it is fine, and just call it the test, and whatever. Okay, when I do this part, and this is the most important part of the spas. You know when you're teaching a class, like an essential oils class, you might teach a class, this might be 5 minutes of it, or you might talk about quality for a minute, or something like that, 10 minutes at the most. At the spa, this is the most important, because they can buy their oils anywhere they want. And if they don't know the difference, you have got to leave that office with them knowing, I have to have doTERRA. They have to know there's a reason. I'll tell you what MGM Grand told me, and for those of you who are new, you may not feel completely comfortable with that yet, because you don't know how awesome they are. But I'll tell you, MGM Grand, this is what they said. They said they were using the highest quality oils that they could find anywhere, and they switched to doTERRA, and they said, we have to use half as much of the oils, of your oils, and we have better results than we have ever seen. We are not having clients with reactions anymore, because they're pure, of course. And number 3, they say, what's number 3? The hand, oh, you're good. Thank you, Richard. They said our massage therapists, with their hands in the oils all day, they used to get kind of sore, their fingertips used to get raw. With the doTERRA oils, they love it because it doesn't happen. So I hear that over and over. I have no qualms about telling them about the quality of doTERRA. If they tell me they have 10 minutes, I'm spending 8 minutes on the quality and 2 minutes on anything else. Question?
So, do you take your laptop and then, even if they said just drop off the oils, or you just have to go through, how do you do that?
I do. It's good to have like a satchel so that you're not bringing this whole huge thing in, because I have a roller bag, and it does not look good if you bring in a roller bag when they said they didn't have time to meet. But if you have a satchel and you're just dropping off samples, then you have it with you in case, just in whatever happens. I have been in a situation where all I have with me is my roller bag. I leave it in the car because I'm not supposed to, we weren't gonna have an appointment. I come in and they'll say, well, you know what, I actually have some time right now. I say, oh, are you sure? You know how much time do you have? Because if they say 5 minutes, I'm not gonna go get my bag. But if they say 15, then I'll say, okay, well, do you mind? I'll go get my stuff in the car. Which they like anyway, because then they realize you weren't expecting anything too. It's fine. Be real, be sincere, and then go with the flow. So if they have usually they'll book a half-hour appointment. That's usual. When we do that, I take 15 minutes on the quality. So that's how important it is. Then we spend the rest of the time talking about different oils that are good for different ailments. Now, when you do a normal essential oils class in a home, what kinds of ailments are you talking about? Ear infections, allergies, kids getting sick, right? You're talking that terminology. With a spa, you're going to talk about back pain. Think about the things that their clients are interested in and talk about those. And instead of saying, if your kids are sick, say if your client comes in and is complaining that they're stressed out, now I've already told them the quality, now they're already very intrigued. By the time we're done with that, they want our oils. We just have to figure out how to help get them in there and make it easy for them, make it so they can make money. They could care less about building doTERRA. The other thing that is so important, do not ever use network marketing terminology, ever. Okay? So I'll give you an example. An example is this. Let's say they're all excited. I've showed all this stuff to them. They're interested. We've talked about different ways they can use it with the clients. I'll say I work with a lot of spas who are doing a new technique called the AromaTouch technique. You might not be able to say, I work with a lot of spas, but you could say, we, doTERRA, we work with a lot of spas. We have a lot of spas using doTERRA, and they're using the new technique called AromaTouch. See what I mean? Always be completely honest, but don't feel afraid to share with them what's happening out there. Okay? I'm going to share with you a few of the spas that are using doTERRA. In fact, where's my roller bag? Oh, it's right there. I'm going to show you this because I don't have that notebook, but on Spa doTERRA, what's it called? Spa doTERRA, I should know. Okay, so what happened with Brianne? Brianne is one of the biggest leaders on my team. She's amazing, and when she first came into doTERRA, she was so excited about the oils. Her job before she worked with doTERRA was to find products for the biggest, the fanciest, the most expensive spas in this country. So her job was to make sure they had the top of the line products that you could get. She worked with all the spas in New York, San Francisco, all over the place. And she knows her stuff. She is an esthetician. And she's very good at what she does, and she had gained a reputation of trust. Well, she learned about the oils, and she was so excited about the oils. Well, Brianne came to the table. She came into doTERRA much later than I went, because I went to Las Vegas right at the beginning. It was a year and a half later or something that Brianne came in, right? And so she was all excited. She heard me teaching one time and talking about approaching spas and what I did with MGM Grand, and she got so excited. She kind of freaked out. She said, I would never go to the spas with a network marketing company because I know how much they hate it. But she said, then I'm talking to you and I find out they're already in MGM Grand and all these spas and resort. And she said, how did you get them in when it was network marketing? And when she found out that it could be done, what we do is we just use business terminology. Instead of saying, well, we'll sign you up and we'll put these people under you, we don't say any of that. This is a business, they could care less about that. In fact, they don't want to be bothered with that. So what I will say is when they get all excited, I'll use words like this. Say, okay, so they say, well, we want to get some of the oils. What do we do? I say, well, what I do is I find out exactly what you need. I'll customize a business account just for you. And basically, I just find out exactly what you want. We'll figure out what oils you want to be using, and we'll customize an account. We'll set up a wholesale account for you. Isn't that exactly what I'm going to be doing? And we talk about customize. How many of you have people on your team who are builders? Raise your hand. Raise your hand. Some of you have some. And your builders are signed up as an IPC, right? How many of you have consumers that are signed up as an IPC? Right. How many of you have people who hate network marketing, but they're signed up as an IPC? Okay, so you can customize the account. It's really an IPC account, but I'm not going to call it that. And I'll tell you what else I'm not going to do. I am not going to ever let them see this. The sign-up form. Because guess what? It's my job as the vendor. To them, I'm just a vendor. And so I already know what information I need. I know I need their name and their social security number or tax ID, whatever. I know I need a payment, a form of payment. I know exactly what I need. So either create your own that just has a list that looks like a business account, or just you know what you need. And so what I do, and I don't ever take the time to go create a new form, so and plus I might forget to take it with me. So when we get to that point, they say, okay, well, how do I get the oil? I say, I need to find out what you want, and then we'll set up a specialized account for you. And they say, okay, so what do you need, or whatever, and I'll just pull out a notebook. It's just a blank piece of paper. They can't see it. And I don't even care if they do, but I'm not usually leaning over the table. I'm sitting back. I say, okay, so first of all, I need to know what the name of the account will be. I need to know this. I just write it all down. And let me tell you, you do not have to know a whole lot to go do this, because let me tell you what happened with MGM Grand. And doTERRA was brand new. And so you go into doTERRA, and you get to see and talk to all the owners. They're all right there. And there was no one else to ask anything but the owner. So that's who we talked to. So I get done with MGM Grand, and they want to buy the oils, and they're saying, well, is it, can you do this with taxes, and can you do this and this, and what about this form, and what about, and I'm thinking, oh, I have no idea. But guess what I said to them? I said, that is not a problem. I work directly with the owners of doTERRA, and all I need to do is find out from you exactly what you need, and I will set up the account, and we'll figure it out. We'll work it out as we go. And I got out of the office, and we're walking down the street, and I'm calling Emily, what do I do about this? I have no idea what that form is, or whatever. She's all, okay, that's okay. And so then they had to start creating certain things to handle the spas because of the issues they had to deal with. And so when Brianne found out that you could go to spas and they would do network marketing and realized it was just the wording of the terminology, then she went to work and she created a system so we talked a little bit about what I had done, and she worked with spas a lot more than I did. So she created a system that works awesome. And she's created, how I told you I'm too lazy to create the forms or the papers or whatever. Okay, she has created this beautiful spa manual. It's really skinny, and it's wire bound, spiral bound. You want to have one of the, oh, thank you, he has one. Can I borrow it? Thank you. Okay, this will be so much easier to explain, even if you can't totally see it. I'm going to put this up here because I'm going to need two hands. spa manual you can get on Brianne Hubby's site. So she created this because she needed it and there was nothing available like that. This is what you're going to need. And if you buy 5 of them at a time, it's a lot cheaper, okay? And I'll show you what you do with this. Because this, when you walk in, they think you are so professional and they fall in love with it. I had to do a lot more follow-up before we had these tools with the spas. Now, it's not nearly so much follow-up. So there's a tear pad. I think it has 50 sheets on it. It looks like this. And it's called Spa, oh wait, that's the wrong one, sorry. Oh man, I might have given them that one too. My last one.
Is it this one?
It's the one, yes, you are awesome. Okay. It looks like this. Okay, it says, look who's using doTERRA. And it has Bellagio, Las Vegas, MGM Grand, Aria. For those who are in this world, these are big names. The Ritz-Carlton, Green Valley Ranch, Las Vegas, WTS International. Those of you who don't know who WTS International is, they are, Brianne went to them. And they have hundreds, maybe even thousands of massage therapists across the country. They are huge and they are high level. They are very good. And she went to them and talked to them about doTERRA. Well, guess what? Whatever WTS International does, the standard is required across the board. And all of their massage therapists are required to buy their own oils. So when WTS decided to use doTERRA, all the massage therapists had to sign up for doTERRA. Isn't that awesome? So, yeah, that was awesome. So WTS International, Four Seasons Hotel. So what I do when I first go in to talk to them, I've got my stack of papers and my spa manual, whatever I'm going to need, and I put this down right here. And you know how with the oils class, you'll pass the oils around when you get to that part of the class? Not with the spas. You put the oils out in front right on their desk, and then they have the oils there while I'm talking. And if I think of a story with deep blue and pain with a client, I'll open it up and let them smell. And then they start playing around with the oils while I'm talking. And that's what I want, okay? And this is sitting right on the desk so they can see it. Because I hate when people are like, well, we're in Bellagio and we're, well, I make this much money. I don't like any of that stuff. So I don't want to be a name dropper, but it does make a difference when they realize these are quality oils and good quality companies are using these, okay? So you'll want that tear pad, and the beautiful thing about this tear pad is on the back, it has a list of all the oils that are most commonly used in the spa. And I can't tell you how many times I get that question. You would think with the spa directors, they just already know what they want, right? You'd be surprised. The spa directors, most of the people who are in charge of the spas, even a lot of massage therapists, the most they know about essential oils. I'm not talking about massage therapists who are doing their own private stuff or whatever, but a lot of the ones who are working these big chains, all they know about the essential oils is that they are soothing. They're supposed to be soothing to the muscles, and people like them, and it's kind of a new age thing that is cool to be part of. That's about it. So when I teach the PowerPoint and I'm talking about these are the three ways you can use the oils, I say you can take it internally. They're not going to do that with their clients, but I want them to know that they're antibacterial, antiviral. I want them to know that, like, we end up starting to talk a little bit about personal things. They might say, like if they're coughing or whatever, I say, like a cough, it'll totally get rid of a cough. And they'll go, like, are you serious? Whatever, and I'll say, yeah, do you want to try it? I mean, you kind of get like that. Don't go in there acting like you're their best friend. Don't go in there going, hi, I'm so excited. Don't be like that. But usually by the time I leave, we are like that. We're like, are you kidding? We become friendly or whatever. So I'm leaving, here I am totally intimidated by MGM Grand, and I leave thinking, I am so buddies with the spa director of MGM Grand. Because you end up having a fun time. So often they'll ask, so what are the most commonly used oils? Well, guess what? I just happen to have it on the back of this paper. So on the back of this is the oils that are most commonly used. And when we get to that point and they're asking that, I'm slipping that in front of them so they can look at it. I say, these are the most commonly used, but I said, we work with each individual spa and we help customize treatments and protocols, whatever you want. Okay, now, what I love about this book is it's got 2 different sides, okay? Let me make sure I'm on the right side. One side will show them exactly how to do the AromaTouch technique. Now, this might intimidate you. You look at this and you kind of feel like, oh, I need to know all this stuff before I go. No, because let me show you what happens. Let me find the right area. Okay, here we go. if I look at, let me find a treatment. Sorry. Okay, so this is a spa manicure with essential oils. So if I look at this, when I'm not experienced in massage or any of that stuff, even though I've worked with a lot of massage therapists, I work with a ton of people who do Reiki, all kinds of stuff as you can imagine, right? And I've learned a lot, but I still kind of have no clue about this. And so for me, I would be like, okay, so put your thumb here and do this and then move your hand. That would be me. The massage therapist, they look at this, so I don't need to teach them how to do it. They already know their stuff. So I say, we have a spa manual that will show you some examples of some protocols or treatments that you can add to what you're already doing. Or, now, keep in mind, because imagine if you're a spa owner, you may not want to add new treatments. You might like what you're doing. So I give them two options. I'm trying to think, I want to answer questions for them before they have them. I say, a lot of times with spas, we'll do one of two things. We'll help them incorporate the essential oils into the treatments they're already doing, or we will help them figure out some new treatments. We can even come up with customized treatments just for your spa and using the essential oils, and the clients absolutely love it. So I'll tell them that. Then when I show them this, the massage therapist looks at it and goes, oh, this, oh yeah, I see. They totally know. I don't have to know it. So don't worry about that. But then the other thing I love, because Brianne knows what she's doing, she put this in here. There's a purple little box, and it's a cost per treatment breakdown. She knows that that's what they want to know. And the spa director has to go figure that out, right? And so it says lemon times 1 drop, 0.04 cents. Lavender times 2 drops, 18 cents. Peppermint times 1 drop, 0.08 cents. Total cost, 30 cents. Suggested treatment cost, $40 to $60. So it helps them see real quick. 'Cause I'll tell you, once they love the oils, their first question is, okay, well, is this gonna be so expensive that I'm gonna lose money on it? Guess what this does. So before, I had to spend a lot of time helping them understand how it works and what we do. There are a whole bunch of these treatments in here. Foot treatments, massage treatments. There are a whole bunch. I don't know why I can't find them all. There's another one. Total cost, 51 cents. Suggested treatment cost, $10 to $25. The AromaTouch technique, let me find that one. I think it costs, do you guys remember anybody? It costs $4, how much? $4.88, and the suggested cost or for treatment is I think $65. So they look at that and they immediately see the bottom line. It is brilliant. So you have to have this. Okay, you don't have to. I didn't have it at the beginning and it worked great, but 10 times easier, okay? Now, if you do it the right way, let me not forget your question, Kate. If you do it the right way, it's easy to get in the spas. But I say easy, not because you don't have to do any work. You have to actually do the work with them, right? Adrienne, I'm gonna have Adrienne come talk to you for a minute, because she's been working with spas and she's very good at it. So, but what happens is I had somebody once who wanted me to go train them how to do spas. And he was the #1 sales representative for, I can't remember if it was Office Max or Staples or something like that, regional representative, and he was their #1 salesperson in all of those states. He wanted me to train him on how to talk to spas, and it was intimidating, but of course we pretend like we're not, right? So I went and I just did what I would normally do. I said, if you'll make 3 appointments in this day, then we'll go do those, and then, or maybe it was for 3 days of appointments, I think. So we went for 3 days and did appointments, and as many as he could fill in for the days, and by the time we were done, this is what he said. We were done with our last appointment, he said, thank you so much, whatever. And he said, so really, you don't have to sell them on the oils. You just tell everybody about them and they all want them. I said, yeah, pretty much. So if we do it the right way, it just makes it easier. Okay, let me see what time it is. 7:30, is that right? Okay, so question right here.
When you do chiropractor offices,
Okay, I'm almost there, and don't let me skip that.
also what policy are you talking about?
If you put your name on the sheet back there, I can email it to you. It's a real basic one, and it's not available anywhere because I think nowadays people feel like it's too basic. Well, guess what? I was at a chiropractic office, or chiropractic school, and I was doing the presentation. I did the same one, and I was starting to feel like, okay, maybe this is old school, maybe it's too basic. I sat down with this guy, and when I was coming there was another very professional looking gentleman leaving who had just done a presentation. And when I was leaving, there was someone else coming. So obviously he's doing these appointments all the time. And when I got done with my appointment, he said, "That is the most professional presentation I've ever seen." And I thought, cool, good job, Jen Kelly, because she's the one who put it together, right? And so it works, so I'm not gonna change it. And this is my thing, people will come up with great new ideas, and I love them, and I say, go try it. But for the core meat of what I require with my builders, for when I'm doing it, working on them with a spa, and I say, we're gonna do it this way, I'm not gonna change that until we'll try some other things, but I'm not gonna change the core way until we know that it works. Because I don't wanna waste time. Okay, Lisa.
Will you just quickly address, when you are approaching a business account like this, especially here in Utah,
Yeah.
because doTERRA is so
Oh,
prominent.
good, I know what you're
When
going.
they do say, well, you're an MLM, or, are you network marketing, or.
Okay.
If that comes up, of course, we can't lie about it, how do you address it?
Okay, yeah, this is how I address it. And remind me, okay, I wanna talk about that, and I also wanna talk about how do you handle it if someone else is already working with them or has already approached them, and is still kind of ongoing working with them. I mean, if they're not following up and aren't taking care of them, fine, work with them. But, I'm gonna talk about the other one first, because I know you'll remind me to talk about that, and I'll forget the other one. So, if you go to a spa and they say, oh yeah, we have some samples that somebody dropped off or whatever, you immediately act like, oh, good. It is not your time to swoop in and try to take that account. It's your time to help them know that at doTERRA we all work together. So when that happens to me, I say, oh, good, good. So do you know their name? Because sometimes I might know them. And if I know them, I'll say, oh, I know her, she's awesome. She'll take really good care of you or whatever. If I don't know them, I say, oh, good, good. I say, that's awesome, we all work together, so we'll help you make sure that you have what you need. And if they say, well, she dropped off samples 2 days ago and she hasn't gotten back to me, well, I'm not gonna take that account. If they said months ago, then I'll say, oh, I can totally help you. But if they said a few days ago or a week ago or something like that, I'll say, okay, so tell me who it was, because we all work together and we'll be able to take care of it. And then I get their name and number, and I'll call them and say, hey, the spa is pretty interested. I stopped by there and they are interested. If you want to follow up with them, go for it. And so I'll do it like that. Now, network marketing. Okay, so, and you do get that. And a lot of times I'll tell you when it happens, it's weird. I don't know why it happens at this point, but it always does. I'll give them the presentation. We're done with the presentation. They want the oils and they're excited about them. And they say, is this network marketing? And I do hear that kind of a lot. And guess what? I'm never gonna lie, but I hate network marketing. And it took me a long time to even be able to say that word, and I'm not kidding. And so I nod my head and I say, this is a direct marketing company, but we can, when I work with spas and professionals like you, we set up your account so that you're not involved in any of that. We just set up an account for you. So guess what that means? I gotta keep my word. MGM Grand had issues where they did not want this, they could not have the spa making any money off of anybody. So I put MGM Grand in the spot and I never put anybody under them. Now, it's best, I'm gonna make more money if I put MGM Grand on my 7th level, right? But MGM Grand made such a big stink about how we cannot have, they've run into problems before because the companies, the oils they were using before were network marketing, and it's not, I need to honor their request. I don't care what it does to me. My job is to find out what they want, right? So I would love to put them down on my 7th level, but I can't. The only way I would put them down here is if I know these people and I absolutely can trust them. Don't fool yourself. If you don't know them, you don't know. But if these are all my sisters or something and I know I can trust them, then I'll put them under here and I'll tell them, you cannot talk to them, you cannot contact them. Because if they have, but can you imagine if all of a sudden you look at your team and you say, oh my goodness, MGM Grand is on my team. If you find that on your team, you might contact them, your upline might contact them. I can't have that because I've made a commitment to them. So if that means they're going on my front line, they're going on my front line. Whatever I have to do to make sure I'm going to take care of them the way I said I would.
What do you do when it's the spots who say they have to have the individual therapist enroll?
Then we have to be very careful because they're not in this to build a business. And this, I've seen people do this. When the spa acts like, well, the individual massage therapist will enroll, then the IPC will get all excited and they'll say, well, what we'll do is we'll put them underneath you and you will make money. And well, guess what? That is such a turnoff for them. They're running a different kind of business, what they consider a legitimate business, and that is not, they don't want to be part of that. Even if you had a way to offer them what they felt like was a legitimate business, even if they like network marketing, they're busy, maybe they don't want to deal with it. It's, as a vendor, it's our job, because now we're a vendor, we're not just a distributor. We're a vendor, it's our job to make sure that we find out what they want and we take care of every need. Okay?
Would you ever consider putting one as a preferred customer?
I use, you need to understand a preferred customer account really well to use it, but I don't ever use, there are a couple of instances where I have people on my team who use it for certain things, but it's very meticulous the way they do it, and what I tell my people is until they know better, until they can learn more and understand the details, I tell them you treat the preferred customer account like a tourniquet. It's the last resort. Because if I have, it's going to make me less money and it's not going to save them as much money. Okay? So I don't want the preferred account, but if they will not give me like if they refuse to sign up because it's network marketing, or I'll have somebody who will not give me a social security number, then that's the last resort. I'll help them with it. I say, well, there is one option and it's this. Okay? Another question over here.
Doesn't Brianna say to have the spot sign up the IPC and then have them also open the preferred customer account under?
Yes, but you're getting into more detail. What she's doing is, if you're talking to a spa and they're worried about network marketing, and you start talking to them about opening up 2 separate accounts, they're gonna start going, what are you trying to do? Okay, so you stay away from that, and after you've been working with them, you've got a relationship of trust, depending, sometimes I'll do that right at the beginning, if it works. Don't do that until you completely know what you're doing, but if not, even if I feel like I know what I'm doing, sometimes because of the way their attitude is or whatever, I won't even bring it up. I just make it as simple as possible. Let's set up an account. I can take care of it. But here, don't forget, but let me finish this thought. If they, let's see, there's something I was thinking. Oh, then what'll happen is a few months down the road, after I've been working with them and they feel, I can tell they trust me or whatever, I say, we have a couple of accounts that, I've been looking at these numbers or whatever, and I figured out a way that will actually help you. Then they like it. But so it's not worth turning them off.
Going back to if there's a spa that has multiple therapists, they have to sign up themselves.
Yeah.
How do you sign those up then?
Okay, so then you would, exactly like we talked about with placements and stuff like that. Oh, sorry. He said, what if you do have a spa who wants you to sign up all their massage therapists? How do you structure it? You structure it exactly following the rules that we talked about with placements. Do it exactly the same way, but you have to be very careful. Because if you start structuring it, and let's say, let me do this. Yeah, oh yeah, you'll find builders in the massage therapist, but that is not your goal at the beginning, and if you ever act like that's your goal or treat it that way at the beginning, you could lose the spa. Because, can you imagine if you've got all these, here's the spa, we've got all these massage therapists, and let's say we're trying to find 3 that we think would be the best builders, so we put these here, and what if we find out these 2 are best friends? Well, what's the rule? If they're, of course they should go together. So you have to manage all of that stuff without the spa having to know or deal with it at all. Because if you do this wrong, then you will have cat fights among some of the, what? No, most spas don't say I don't want checks or I don't want money. That was just MGM Grand. Because I don't tell them about any of that, I just handle it. But then when they get a check, they're going, wait, so why did we get this check? I say, because you're a massage therapist. And see, a lot of spas, they'll sell it retail, in their retail store, right? And they want the massage therapist to buy it from the retail store at a discount. But if we set it up like this, then the spa has the opportunity to make a lot more money in residual. And so, for example, the one in Hawaii, they were far enough along in the process, they were excited about the oils, they knew enough that I could say, normally I wouldn't even bring this up until it feels comfortable, and it was at a point where it was comfortable, and so I said, yeah, and I said a lot of the spas we work with, some of them, I said a lot of spas we work with want their massage therapists using the oils in their homes. Because when they're using them in their homes, what happens is they learn how to use them. They know way better how to use them. Then when the clients are coming in, they know how to explain them better, and they know what oils to use for which ailments, and the retail sales of the spa goes up. So I'll just kind of give them examples as we talk or figure things out.
Social do you use in spa?
They use a tax ID. They've got a business and you use the tax ID.
How much support or time investment are you finding the spa requires, like, after you? enroll?
Okay, what happens is, depending on the spa, the size of the spa, let me see. Is it seriously almost 8 o'clock? Okay, I'll go into that in a minute. This is the most important. I need to make sure I cover this first. So don't forget your question, maybe write it down, and maybe I'll cover it as I'm going over this, because this might give you an idea. Okay, when I'm talking to the spa and they want the oils, what we do is we have a package, and Brianne has something for that too. It's a tear pad, and she took it away for a little while because doTERRA changed their packages. And I know I have it here because I saw it.
Same site?
Same side, yeah. Yeah, they changed something, and so the back was wrong, but she may have updated that. I have an old one. But this says spa packages. Okay, that's what's on the tear pad. And what it says is, if you order a professional package, which is a $500 initial order, then you're going to get a complimentary intro to essential oils kit. You're going to get a free spa manual, and you're going to get an Aroma Touch training, and that may be online. So see how she's offering a free package. So, and the free package is never more than the fast start that you would get. And she said spas are used to getting free stuff. Like they're used to getting all this free stuff because they're starting with your company or whatever. So if they buy a silver package, which is up to $1,000, then they get a little bit more. They get an extra spa manual. But guess what? Every single one of these packages includes training, free training for the employees, and usually they have to pay for training. And that is the key to this whole thing. Because if I come in and I say, well, we come and do free trainings, if they are going to be buying a lot every month, I might come in once a month and do trainings. And part of it is depending on that spa package. If they buy the $3,000 package, then we'll set up trainings as often as they want in their spa. A lot of times they're busy. They don't want it more than once a quarter maybe, but I'll do it whatever works best for them. But I'm not going to commit to once a month for a spa that's ordering $100 the first time, because that may not be worth my time. But when I come in and we have the free training, all the massage therapists and all their staff are required to be there. How many of you would like to have a class of 5, 10, 20 people that are required to be there, that are in a business realm where they use essential oils or would use essential oils? That's what I'm excited about. So I'll go in and guess what we teach the first time? We teach basic essential oils class. But let me show you 2 things. I need to show you what we do for the trainings for them. But first, I'm going to show you how you help them with their first order. Because think about this. Think about what you do after an essential oils class. In an essential oils class, when you're done, you've got people who have certain ailments, right? They've got A, B, C, D ailment. And then we figure out what oils you need for that ailment, right? So by the time you're done, there might be 6 or 7 or whatever oils that they're looking at buying. And now they have their grocery list. You're going to help them figure out how to buy it the cheapest, best way they can, right? Okay, with the spas, it's exactly the same thing. Now, as I'm showing you this, think about dentist offices and chiropractic offices, because you're going to do this part exactly the same. When you go into the office, you're going to do the same presentation, except instead of talking about clients, you're going to talk about patients. Patients who are scared to see the dentist and use these essential oils, right? Okay, so we get to this point and they want the oils. Now I need to find out what the grocery list is. Okay, and I don't know a whole lot about spas. I don't know what the treatments are called. I know Swedish massage, but I have no idea what that is. You see what I mean? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, so what I need to find out is what treatments you do at your spa. And if I was smart, maybe ahead of time I checked and saw their little flyer or whatever. So let's say that I say, first I need to know tell me about what rooms you have in the spa. And they might say, okay, we have 2 massage therapy rooms, and I'm writing this down on my sheet. We have 2 massage therapy rooms, we have 4 nail stations, we have 1 wet room, we have a duo massage room, massage therapy room for couples or whatever, they'll tell me the list of the rooms they have. And then I say, okay, so what treatments do you do in these rooms that we would be able to incorporate essential oils with? Or where you want to start new protocols, depending on what we've talked about, right? So they might say, well, we want to start doing aroma touch in here, so I'm writing it down. I gotta write it all down. Aroma touch technique. We want to add melaleuca because it kills fungus. We want to add melaleuca here. We want to add deep blue and whatever else, balance. Whatever they tell me. There might be 5 other oils here that they want to add to the wet massage. Duo, the couples massage, we want to be able to do aroma touch as well, and we also want to start doing one that we want to call, this, and we want to incorporate all the oils that are good for stress, something like that. Whatever they tell me, I'm writing it down. Okay, so now I know how to make my grocery list. Because guess what? If they want melaleuca and they have 4 nail stations, how many melaleuca do we need? We need 4 melaleuca. Okay, how many aroma touch kits do we need? 2. Okay, aroma touch kits. How many deep blues, balance, whatever do we need? We need 1 of each of those, right? Because they only have 1 wet room. And what about the couples massage? We need another aroma touch. 1 aroma touch. Now, the one thing you need to know about spas, because you don't just need them for the rooms. There are a couple places you need them, and this is what's really helpful to know. There's something called the back bar, and that's where the massage therapists go to get something if they run out. So they need at least 1 at the back bar, at least 1. So whatever you put right here, you have to add 1 to the back bar. And boy, I'll tell you what, it's so funny because I didn't know what a back bar was, and then I learned about it or whatever. So I was at the spa, and I'm telling all this stuff. I say, okay, so we're gonna need this many aroma touch kits. We'll need 4 melaleucas, 2 lemons, whatever. I said, but then we need an extra 1 of each for the back bar. And you should see, they look and they're like, oh, you totally know what you're doing. It's awesome. So learn that phrase, the back bar is really important. So and so I'm making this list, and they love it because they don't have to sit and do it. I'm doing it. And by the time I'm done, I go, okay, so we need 4 aroma touch kits, and now I'm making the real list. I need 4 aroma touch. Well, you can do it however you like, do that, but then the other thing you need to do is this. You tell them, okay, well, you need to know this. In a spa, they make more money on their retail sales than on any of their treatments. So they have got to make good money on the retail sales. And massage therapists they're not salespeople. They don't want to be salespeople. So that will play into what I'm going to tell you in just a minute. So let's see. Oh, okay, so for retail, in order for them to sell this, like someone gets an aroma touch technique treatment, and now they want those oils, or they want balance, or they want melaleuca, and so they have to have them in the retail store. And so what I tell them is, we get to this point, I make the list. Usually I'll make this list right now. I'll say, okay, we need 4 aroma touch kits, because we need 1 for the back bar, right? 4 aroma touch, 5 melaleuca, 2 of each of these oils, right? 2 each, and we've already got that. So I say, okay, so this is what we need so far, and now listen how I do this, because I might consider them a small spa compared to MGM Grand, but they might feel like they're a big spa, right? It's not my job to tell them and make them feel like their spa's piddly or whatever. So, because if it's a small spa on the retail shelf, they want to usually have at least 3 to 6 of those items for sale, each of those items for sale on the retail shelf, so it looks like they really carry the product. If it's a large spa, they want 6 to 12. Okay? Now, but I don't know what they think. I don't know if they think they're a big spa or a little spa. So I tell them, when I get to this point, I say, and normally with the spas that I'm working with, well, I didn't say that. I just say, and for the small spas, we want at least 3 to 6 of each of these items on the retail shelf. And for a large spa, 6 to 12. So you tell me how many you want for the retail shelf. Because see, that saves me from trying to act like I think they're big or little. So then they'll tell me, they say, well, we better just start with 2 or whatever. But notice I've already said, well, at least 3, because you want to make sure that it looks like you actually carry that product. So now they know that, it's their decision. Now is it a good time for me to say, well, remember, you want at least 3? No, they're always right. So when they say, okay, well, we want 2 of each, I say, okay, So for retail, we want 2, 10, or how, what's that? No, 2 Melaleuca, and we need 2 of each of these, right? So now we have our grocery list. So you see how you would do the same thing for a dentist or a chiropractor? You talk about how clove oil helps kill infections in the tooth. You might come ready with a study that it does, or the study of how wild orange calms the patients down. So you're talking those kinds of terminology instead of spa stuff, or that kind of terminology. And then what happens is, okay, thanks. I'm gonna have, there are a couple people I wanna have speak to you, and then I'll end with the last thing I wanna show you. First of all, Dr. Harding, would you welcome him back? We're glad you came back. He's a dentist, and he is going to tell us, he's just gonna take about 5 minutes and tell us a little bit about the system that he's working on to get it into dentist's office so it's better and easier to work with them.
Okay, so a couple of things. First of all, it's exciting to see some of my patients here. That's exciting. You don't have to leave just because I got up to talk. Anyway, and she's probably wondering, how come you don't have a diffuser in your office? Well, it's because Laura took it home and never brought it back. She had sick kids. Anyway, and you promised to give me another one, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, quickly. Dentists think about 2 things, okay? They think about something they call standard of care, and they think about something that's called evidence-based, okay? And so all of their thoughts are around those things. And so they think about, well, am I doing stuff that's at the standard of care, otherwise I'm going to get sued? And is this stuff evidence-based? Is there some kind of documentation, some kind of study that says this works, okay? So anything you present to them, you've got to have some backup. I'll just go over a couple issues. Anxiety is huge. So you'll want to talk about diffusing wild orange. And like she was saying, how many operatories do you have? Well, we can get you a diffuser for everyone. You want one in the waiting room for sure, because that's where patients are waiting, diffusing wild orange, lavender. There's studies on those. Bacteria is what dentists are very concerned about in your mouth, on the surfaces. So On Guard is good. And I got to be really quick here. Sometimes people will want a fluoride-free alternative for toothpaste, okay? You know what that is, On Guard toothpaste. Periodontal disease. There's a study that shows that more free radicals that you have floating through your system, the more likely you are to have periodontal disease. So what do we have that will take care of free radicals? Alpha CRS is the main one. And the E omega capsules, they have clove in them, they have frankincense, some of those you guys mentioned. So that would be an awesome thing to do. We prescribe antibiotics. After you take antibiotics, PB Assist would be a great thing. So what I'm doing, and the man in the fancy lavender shirt back there, he's a dentist too. We're kind of working on this together with a couple other dentists and hygienists to get a tear sheet, something like Brianne has here. It's not ready yet. If you're interested in it, I'm going to write my email up here. You can email me and say, send me a copy of the PDF when you're done, okay? Last thing, how do you approach them? We have these things called lunch and learns, right? So the lunch and learn, someone comes in, brings us a pizza, and talks to us for half an hour. I wouldn't go over half an hour in a dental office, okay? You might even keep it a little bit shorter, but you go over the basic class, you go over how you use the oils, or aromatically, how that actually works, and people will, that'll be interesting for them to know, how it impacts people. So you do this little lunch and learn. You can go to your dentist, say, hey, I want to do a lunch and learn at your office. Take half an hour every time, talk about essential oils, how you can use them in the office, and usually they'll like to do that.
So is the dentist and all of the hygienists at the lunch and learn?
Yeah, you have the whole office. So you get a big group there, and then, people are going to have questions afterward about their own personal things. So you keep it short because people are busy, but leave time for them to come to you and ask questions. All right, who's next?
I'm going to go ahead and end with this last part and then let Adrienne end because she is really hot and she's nice to look at and no, but she's awesome. She's awesome. So I'll let her end. You guys, I'm sure, are tired of hearing from me. So let me just tell you this. When you're working with the spas and you get to that point, remember the spa packages. The most important key is that you're going to come in and train, right? So I'm just gonna give you an example of the training. And if you don't know what you're going to do to train, don't worry about it, because guess what? You're probably not coming back for a couple months. They might say the training is in 2 months from now, and now you have all this time to prepare and get ready. Even if you had no idea what you were gonna train on. I've already told you do the basic essential oils class, but using spa terminology, right? So now you know the first one, so now you've got even longer before you have to do the next one. So we do basic essential oils training, and we get, you know how in the classes we give examples of kids and that kind of stuff? We get in that class, when we do training, we give examples of the specific ailments that their customers or clients might be dealing with, right? Okay, now, when I'm sitting down with the spa director or somebody, as we're sitting there and we're talking, we talk about the trainings, and whether they ask or not, I say something about the retail sales, because I know that's their biggest worry. And so I'm going to tell them, I say, I know, your retail sales are the biggest concern. And I say that with confidence because I absolutely know that. And I say, when we do our trainings with your staff, your retail sales will go up. And we have seen it over and over, and the spas get super excited. So they're excited about it, but they're thinking, what? They're going to help me with my retail sales too? So now you're wondering, well, I can't say that because I don't know how to help them with their retail sales. I'm going to give you an example, and this is stuff that you can easily do kind of some research and figure out what you want to do in the training, and hopefully we'll have more videos on what you can train in the spas, but let me give you an example. I don't even have to write it down. If I'm talking to the spa director and we're talking about that, she'll say, well, what do you do in the trainings? I say, well, for example, the first class would be a basic essential oils class so that they understand how to use the oils. I said, but for example, and I'll give them a couple of examples, and you tell me if you're a spa director, if you're not going to be going, I want my staff to have that training. Okay, so this is what I'll say. I'll give you a couple of examples of something that we'll do. After we're done with basic training and get them learning how to use the essential oils, we work with your massage therapist, for example. And I'll say it just like this. I'll say, they're not salespeople. They don't want to be salespeople. But you need them to sell the oils, and you need the retail sales to go up. So what we do is, for example, we'll train, when we're working with the massage therapist, we do specialized training with them, where we tell them, when the client comes into the room to get their treatment, that what's the first thing the client usually says? I'll ask the staff this. They'll say, oh, my back hurts, or, they'll start telling. Usually the first thing the massage therapist should be asking you is, so how are you today? Right? You're going to ask something like that, and the client will answer. They'll say, oh, I'm kind of stressed out, or, oh, I'm doing great, or I have pain. They're there for some reason, right? And they'll talk about that. And then I tell the spa director, this is what I'm telling them right now, and I got to keep it under 5 minutes, but I'm kind of letting them know, so they want that training. And I say, so then we train the massage therapist to find out what's going on, and if they know how to use the essential oils, now if someone says, oh, I'm stressed out, then they say, oh my goodness, okay, so we're going to do this treatment that you requested, but we're going to customize it for you today. So there are a few essential oils that are known for that have been proven in research to be the best at helping with stress and reducing stress. So I want you to smell these 3 oils, or these 5 or whatever, you check out these oils, smell those, and tell me which one you like the best, and I'll diffuse that one while we're doing the treatment. And I tell the spa director, I say, and the clients love it because they feel like it's all customized and being treated special, right? And so now the spa director is getting pretty interested and pretty excited, right? So now I say, of course, we don't want the massage therapist talking to them through the whole therapy. They've got to be able to be quiet and relaxed. So we teach the massage therapist right at the beginning to say, these are doTERRA essential oils. They're a higher quality than. We teach them a little bit to say that takes about 1 minute right at the beginning. And these are the oils we're going to be using, because all that comes across to the client is they're making sure I know what kind of quality their spa uses. They're being very professional. We teach the massage therapist to do that. So once they've explained their minute or something about the essential oils and a little bit of research, just so it comes across legitimate that there's something to these oils. And in your massage today, I'm going to be using Deep Blue, which is a blend of all the essential oils that have been proven to be best in helping with pain, and you're going to notice a difference when we're done today. So I kind of show the spa director, this is what we're going to help them do. And then they're going to do the treatment. They do the treatment just like they normally would, using the oils. And we know how people are when they're done with doTERRA oils, right? They're all excited. And so then I said, when they're done, the massage therapist isn't done. Now we're gonna train the massage therapist to write up kind of like a prescription that they would get from the doctor. As the person is leaving, they're saying, okay, so now what I want you to do is, I want you to get some Deep Blue, and I want you to put 3 drops of Deep Blue on your back every morning and every night, whatever treatment they want to give that person, and they need to know how to use the oils, right? So they're gonna write it down, just like we talked about. You can't call it a prescription in there, because then you sound like you're trying to act like you're a doctor, you're not. So we do that, and then we tell them how we train the massage therapist to bring the client up to the front desk, and then we train the front desk staff with that transition. So the massage therapist says, you know, Susan is gonna be needing some Deep Blue and Melaleuca, and I've explained how she needs to use it, blah, 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 passes them off to the office person. Then the office, like the person at the retail desk, then helps them get the oils they need, and we train them to not be overselling, you know, to help them buy what they need. But if the person's worried about money, saying, okay, well, you know, we could do this or we could do this, you tell me what works best for you, their retail sales go up, and they absolutely love it. So when I'm done telling the spa director this, they want that training. And so they want the oils, and then we're gonna come back and do training, we'll set it up however they want.
Can they set up their own retail pricing?
Yeah. Mhm. They cannot sell it below the wholesale price, which they wouldn't anyway. Yeah, they can mark it up. They can do whatever they want. Mhm. And so I'm going to end by having Adrienne Thomas come on up here. She is, I'll tell you another, she's very good at the spas, and she's very professional at talking about the oils. She's one of my qualifying ladies. I've been lucky to have her as my leader. But I want you to notice how she's dressed. Okay? Sometimes I have to train people, don't chew gum while you're in the appointment. Don't have your chest hanging out. It is not professional. Okay? You need to dress professionally and not do anything that's distracting from what you're trying to show. And you can see that is the look that Adrienne portrays. So can you tell us a little bit about your working with the spas?
I really learned everything from Teresa. Like, I got the exact same training that you guys got tonight. She's absolutely amazing. A couple of key things. I loved all the questions when people are like, well, what if the spas bring up, is this a direct selling company? I get that all the time. And I'm so excited to tell them, yeah, it is. But guess what? We get to set up a wholesale account just for you. And they're like, oh, thank goodness. I don't have to do that direct selling company. You know, and like Teresa said, with the IPC account, I never ever have ever let a spa look at the IPC enrollment form. Nor have I made up my own one. I've never thought of that. But I will fill it out for them, right? When I make the appointment, I go into the spa. You know, for example, one time I only had 5 minutes. I couldn't take my laptop in. I had all that I had at the time, because we didn't have the spa tear sheets or anything. I took in the basics of essential oils. And the only thing that I went over off that tear sheet was the quality of the essential oils. That's it. And I spent 5 minutes on that. And once they understood, and they were very well educated on the quality of doTERRA's oils, they said, okay, I want to smell them. They took one whiff. It gives me chills every time I talk about it or when I work with people. They took one whiff of Aroma Touch and peppermint. They were sold. They're like, where do I sign? I'm like, praise doTERRA. I don't know how they do it, but they're amazing. And so I really love working with spas, because it's not like you get all this money and all this volume all of a sudden, but I'll tell you, the relationships that you build with that spa is priceless. And then the clients and the customers that come into their spa with backaches, with fibromyalgia, with all these different elements, and this spa is so well educated about doTERRA's medicinal grade essential oils, it's amazing. It's like a miracle almost. And their clients will call back the spa and they will say, what did you put on my back during my massage? I have lived with a headache for 20 years and it's gone. And so the spa's calling me up, what do I do? What do I say? Right? Because they didn't want to have anything to do with the direct selling company. Right? Which I totally, like Teresa said, you listen to them. I am not going to push doTERRA down anybody's throat. That's not my job. I am simply the messenger, right? I have a great product. I believe in it. I use it daily. I know it can benefit them if they just give it a chance. So I set up a wholesale account. It's definitely all about the wording. I don't go up to them and say, do you want to sign up as an independent product consultant? You have to spend $150 every month. I don't do that. I listen to them and I find out what their needs are first. And I set up their wholesale account. I get their EIN number. I take care of all their tax information. And my first spa account that I had, I remember Teresa years ago at one of the conventions. You're in the lobby talking to people about spas, and you said, MGM said this, and I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. I had that moment. I was like, it's okay, we can take care of it. I'll go to corporation. I'll get back with you next week. You know, I didn't know what I was doing. I called Teresa. I called Park. I'm like, hey, what do I do? You know, you live and learn, and that's how I learned through experience. So, yeah.
Where do you have them sign? If they don't sign the IPC form, where do you have them sign?
There's a business addendum form, and it's where they put the EIN number and they have to have their signature. So that's what I do, because I'm doing everything online. You can't do electronic signature online, right? With the IPC form. So it is definitely all about the wording. So you definitely want to get the oils in front of them. You want to educate them on the quality of doTERRA and let them know if they do ask, yes, this is a direct selling company, but it's okay. You can have your own separate account, right? And then as they start using the oils and implementing them in their business, then they start coming to you. I have not had one spa that has not called me a month later saying, you know, not calling me at all. They'll call me a few weeks later and say, I keep getting more business. Clients are coming back. I'm getting great experiences. Nobody's having a rash, and my massage therapist's hands are doing great. You know, all this positive feedback, and it just kind of takes off from there. Was there anything else? Is that it? So anyways, I just want to tell Teresa and Roger, thank you so much for setting this whole thing up. Teresa and Roger are absolutely the most amazing leaders, don't you think? I love them. So, it's a great honor, you know, to have a wonderful leader like you guys, so thank you.
Thanks, Adrienne. Thank you very much. Can you give her a round of applause and she did a great job? So, hey, we want to do the raffle. You guys have been the stalwarts. Oh my goodness, this has been a long day, huh? Okay, so good job. Hopefully you got enough information that it will help you as you build your team. And we are going to do the rest of the raffle. Does everybody have their raffle tickets up here that need to be up here? Okay. We are going to give away rosemary oil. The number is 696997. Oh! Good job, Leah. I should make you guys do like 5 push-ups or something. You win or something. Okay, so this is Zendocrine Blend, the essential oil blend. It is 697385. 697385. Do we have somebody? Oh, I'll put it right there. Okay. Before we gave away the Summer Sizzle Kit, this is the Summer Sensation Kit. It has 4 little tiny baby cute oils in there. Okay, the number is 6.